But look, happy to take your questions.
Minister, what can you tell us about the Wellington COVID case this morning?
Look, at this stage, nothing more that I can provide you, of course, expecting as per usual the updates to come through at 1 o'clock.
Will that make any changes to Parliament?
Look, at this stage, too soon to speculate around anything on cases for which we, at this stage, don't have further details to report on, but I expect the Ministry of Health will share more at 1 o'clock.
Can you confirm that it was a construction worker?
No, I can't confirm anything at this stage.
How likely is it that hairdressers and beauty therapists in Auckland will open next week?
Oh, look, I've seen some of the commentary over the last 24 hours. There's been no decisions by Cabinet on any further easing of restrictions at this stage. As we've consistently said, though, what we would really encourage businesses in Auckland and, of course, across New Zealand to do is to prepare for the new COVID protection framework. On the 29th of November, Cabinet will be making decisions at which level each part of the country will move into, and then the country will move very soon after.
Is there any chance Kiwis living overseas will be able to self-isolate and come home for Christmas?
Well, we have said that the next stage for changes at our border will be self-isolation. We've said that will be in the first quarter of next year. We will work to provide greater specificity, dates that people can work to, but we have already indicated that it will be in the first quarter.
And you have said we're expecting changes to MIQ rules in the next few weeks. Will these be dramatic changes or tweaks?
As we've indicated, the most significant of which will be the use of self-isolation, but that is a big step. For the better part of 2 years now, of course, as we've managed COVID-19, we have brought in our managed isolation facilities, which have done an amazing job of supporting our strategy. But we are now changing, moving forward, and with that will come changes to the way that we require people to look after themselves when they return home. But MIQ, once we change that setting, does mean that there'll be much greater options for New Zealanders return home.
And how about the Trans-Tasman bubble? When can people look forward to that reopening?
Look, I'd really encourage people to look at some of these stages separately. Of course, we've said that from the very beginning of our reconnecting work that there will be emphasis on supporting the ability of New Zealanders and residents to move. The idea or the issue of when people who are coming into New Zealand as tourists, that is not our first tranche. We are really focusing on citizens and residents.
You have sort of touched on it, but back to the hairdressers. Why are you considering the possibility of letting hairdressers open with vaccine passports, and what will this mean for other 3.3 activities?
What I'd be really clear on, Cabinet has made no decisions at this stage of any further easing of restrictions. For the purposes of certainty and planning for the future, I encourage all businesses, but particularly Auckland businesses, to plan around that decision making that Cabinet has on the 29th of November. Very soon after, that is when the country moves into the new COVID protection framework. It's a big step forward and will allow the easing of restrictions in Auckland in particular.
You'll be meeting with some of the local mayors this morning, I understand?
That was part of my plan, were I not to lose an hour of the program, so unfortunately I had to come straight here.
So it seems that a number of events in Christchurch have been cancelled because of concern, in terms of upcoming council events, the Christmas in the Park and the like. Do you think there's a misunderstanding about how the traffic light system will work? Do you think the council's overestimated the impact?
Ultimately, decisions that council make are decisions for them, and so I won't cast any judgment on the rationale for why they're choosing to change up events at this point. But what we have indicated is that those areas that have good vaccination levels can expect to move into the new system at Orange, and those with lower vaccination levels we will need to use the greater protection that comes with Red. So we are indicating to give some level of planning around what we expect, but again, it's not that far until we see those final decisions and then everyone moves into the framework.
What do you say to people that it's too complicated, that they misunderstand it?
Well, for them I'd say actually it's very simple. It's quite similar to the way that we've used the alert level system so that people, if they're having to transition, it's quite straightforward except with the added use of vaccine passes. What has also changed though is certainty. Under every level, business is open, and it's a big change from what we've had in the past.
What do you say to people in the South Island who may be worried this week about hearing about the Auckland border coming down? People are concerned what might happen. What do you have to say to people down here?
By the time that we make changes at the Auckland boundary, Auckland will have been in a form of bubble for the better part of 4 months. We know changes need to be made, but we've looked to do that safely. There'll be a requirement on Aucklanders who are travelling to be either vaccinated or tested. And for the South Island, they'll actually have checks of everyone travelling via flights and the inter-islander. So that gives an added level of reassurance for the South. One thing I will say, though, is that throughout this outbreak, and we've seen that, despite having protections in place, we have seen the movement of some cases. So yes, we can slow it, but we also need to be prepared. That's what our new COVID protection framework helps with too.
Prime Minister, how soon will you move the South Island to the new alert level system, traffic light system? After the 29th of November, will it be well before December 15th?
Yes. Very soon after those decisions are made, the whole country moves. And one of the reasons for that is because it does provide greater protections than the system that we have now. We've indicated that we'll be making those moves to give people time to prepare, but it also means that we can adjust to the new system before we see changes made at the Auckland boundary. Again, the Auckland boundary does have extra protections added, and for the South Island they're even greater again because we are more easily able to do that because of the 2 access points via the north.
Do you have a vaccination rate in mind for that red light?
We've said that all along, that the goal that we're reaching towards has been in the order of 90% double vaccination, but we'll also make pragmatic decisions around that too. All right, thank you very much.